Alright, so I didn't sleep so well. But who cares? I had a son unique in all the world. It's not every boy who can trace his family tree to a tree.
It's about as funny as any of the other jokes on the Drew Carey show. And if you thought Carey couldn't sing, he still can't. But this kid isn't too great either.
And son, that's the addendum that always should end a man's name. And son,
couldn't we have gotten the fat kid from the Toy Song to play Pinocchio, or did they really all just sound good because of their sync? So anyway, they walk around town singing about how a man should have a son, while Pinocchio wrecks stuff because of his curiosity and lack of knowledge of the world. You know, I would make fun of this scene, but I'm thinking, you know, he got over the shock of the blue fairy and the puppet coming to life pretty well. I mean, what do you think all the other townspeople are going to say?
This is your finest work yet.
So, in this world, it's just finest work when a man makes a puppet come to life? You know, I should be more forgiving since it's a Disney movie based on a Disney movie, but then half these jokes should be gone. The next day they do more singing, but this time with a bike.
a dad at last.
For his land at last.
Pinocchio! Slow down! Slow down! Pinocchio!
Oh good, is he gonna crash and end up as firewood?
He's at it again. He's alright.
Actually, this scene is a little funny because they crash, pick up the broken bike, and then they go right back to singing as if nothing had happened. It'd be even more funny if not for the lyrics and the singing. Anyway, on the third day, Geppetto decides to stay inside, even yelling at the rooster when it won't stop crowing.
Quiet!
Did the rooster just die?
Yo, today we're gonna stay indoors.
Anyway, Geppetto decides it's time for Pinocchio to learn how to make toys. But Pinocchio seems uninterested as he wants to play with other children. During this scene, Pinocchio accidentally knocks over a bunch of shelves, destroying a large portion of the house. How does Geppetto react?
You know what? Tomorrow, you're going to school.
Deciding to send him off to school, because he's about 3 days old and is obviously ready for a school social life. So anyway, around this time, Geppetto, little by little, becomes more frustrated with Pinocchio being so carefree and out of touch with the world. Or by being in the film, whichever one works.
I look like a log.
You are a log.
Precious. But before Pinocchio leaves for school, Geppetto tells him to just act like all the other children.
Act like all the other.
I'm sure someone who's been alive for less than a week couldn't possibly misunderstand that in a predictable manner.
Off you go.
Now, there's no foul fellow in this movie, so he does make it to school this time, but... More kids? Look, you want to sing? Go ahead, as long as your parents don't.
There's a big fight at school. So you need to come with us.
Whoa, slow down. What's going on?
Pinocchio is in trouble.
He's in trouble? But what could he have done? Surely someone who wrecks nearly everything he touches and can get people splinters with handshakes couldn't possibly cause problems. In what world is this? Geppetto then runs off with the kids to the school. On the way, they bump into bumbling puppeteer Stromboli, played by Brent Spiner. And I have to give him credit, he's the only main character who's actually trying and succeeding in entertaining me.
Scusi, si marionettes dance! La 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 la
No, I don't think so.
Grazie, signorine! Si marionettes do amazing acrobatics! Allez!
Yes, this version of Stromboli is an unsuccessful puppeteer who is also mentally ill.
How do you expect to sell tickets if you sing off key?
Moving right along, it turns out Pinocchio was fighting at school because, big shocker, he was imitating all the other kids. This time Geppetto's pissed, even though it was obviously his fault this time. And on their way back, Stromboli sees Pinocchio, and is rather enamored with him because he thinks he would be able to draw audiences to see him. Or maybe it's because he can relate to artificial life forms who want to become human, but it's probably the first thing I said. Anyway, Geppetto and Pinocchio fight, we get the nose gag, which has no point on the plot, even though it probably should. And then Geppetto goes out to find the blue fairy, somehow doing it, and tries to reason with her.
Oh, I never make mistakes. The green fairy makes mistakes. The orange fairy makes many, many mistakes. But I never, ever make mistakes.
Hey kids, here's a puzzle for you. Both of these people were on multiple long-running TV shows, each of which still are on a long-running TV show, except one of them is talented. Can you tell me which one? If these clips are your source material, then neither can I. So anyway, he thinks the Blue Fairy screwed up and wants her to make Pinocchio do whatever he tells him to do without question. Unfortunately, he makes a big mistake and we get another bad song sequence with bad dancing, bad singing, and bad lyrics.
Cast your spell, wave your wand, make my wish come true. But they seldom look beyond, to then what will they do? They don't have a clue, like you.
Schwartz, you wrote Hellfire. What happened? Gets even worse as Geppetto starts singing and dancing along with her, and this scene is made completely pointless when he doesn't listen in the end.
I don't care what that Blue Fairy says. I ordered a wooden boy who could talk, not talk back. Everyone was carrying on about Geppetto and his sawdust for brains son. Well, I was not going to be the laughingstock of Velagio. And if the Blue Fairy wasn't going to fix Pinocchio, I just have to do it myself. Pinocchio! Pinocchio!
Apparently, while Geppetto was out, Pinocchio left to join Stromboli's circus. I guess Stromboli broke in, and Pinocchio chose not to question it. Geppetto mopes a little, he sings a little reprisal of that unsung song, but he seems to adjust to it rather quick. He decides to say goodbye to him by watching a performance of Stromboli's. Here we see Pinocchio doing No Strings on Me from the original Disney film. This scene is the one most like the original story, and thankfully now Atkins can be surrounded by people that are even more wooden than he is.
I had strings, but now I'm free. There are no strings on me.
We then see that, just like in the Disney film as well, Stromboli has locked Pinocchio in a cage, telling him that he now owns him. But, rather than threatening to chop him into firewood if he doesn't comply, he instead uses leverage from a contract that he had Pinocchio sign.
And of course, there is the matter of the little contract we signed!
A world with fairies and puppets that come to life is infinite, but I can't possibly back down from a contract!
So then Geppetto drops by hoping to say his last goodbyes, but Stromboli lies to him and tells him that Pinocchio is headed in the opposite direction that he will be headed. Pinocchio uses this time to somehow escape from the cage. I'd say the Blue Fairy helped him out like in the original, but seeing as how she only seems to talk to Geppetto in this special, I'm not buying it. Anyway, the cart to Pleasure Island just happens to be nearby, something that Stromboli notices, as Pinocchio gets into the cart and Stromboli prepares to go after him, while showing just how mentally ill he is.
You were supposed to be watching him. I only closed my eyes for a second. How could you do this to me? Don't you know what this means? After all I've done for you.
I could make fun of it, but moments in this movie that are actually funny are very thin when Spiner isn't around. He then chooses to sing about how he has to recapture Pinocchio.
After years of a second-rate act on a second-class circuit, after years of obscurity, toiling and doubting in debt, comes a chance I could perk up my luck and I'm going to perk it. Think of the rapture once we recapture that marvelous marionette.
The real problem I have with this song is he packs up all of his puppets, but then other than one, he doesn't take them with him, which makes this song sequence entirely pointless. So Geppetto tries to follow Pinocchio, but the Blue Fairy interrupts him, assumingly she's going to point Geppetto in the right direction, but he chooses not to listen to her, still firmly believing that it's Pinocchio's fault and that he's not being a douche at all. This produces the only funny lines that I can get out of these two.
What is wrong with wanting a child who wants to grow up to be like me?
Because you're such a prize?
I'm not talking to you anymore.
Dreyfus then begins to sing again, and Geppetto correctly runs away. But she decides he needs to learn just how misguided he is before he gets Pinocchio back. So she sends him a sign in the form of the guy on whose line who actually could sing.
Welcome, welcome, welcome! You have arrived just in time to see the great Lizardo escape from his bonds!
And thus we have Wayne Brady as the great Lizardo.
Just about the worst magician in the world.
How long you been hanging up there?
Oh, not long. About 6 hours.
6 hours?
Oh, wait. I'm upside down. 9 hours.
The scene itself isn't that funny, but you can tell for the 5 minutes that he's on screen that Wayne Brady is actually trying. And he does nearly kill Geppetto a few times during it. Also, I love the way Brady says this one line.
This is a trick invented by my great-great-grandfather Lizardo I. Please examine the bunny.
Oh, that gets a laugh out of me every time.
Please examine the bunny. Pronti! Hey, just hold still. The great Lizardo never misses.